checking the UV Index. It is a scale that goes from 1 to 11, and it predicts the intensity of those ultraviolet rays or radiation from the sun. So today is an 8 in Daytona Beach. That's considered very high. Well, a lot of teenagers, specifically girls, or some boys too, checking the number to see if it is a good day to go outside and get a tan. It's sort of part of a new social media trend, and one that Dr. Matthew Knight is very familiar with, right? One he's not happy about. He is the president of Knight Dermatology Institute. He's also a member of the Florida Board of Medicine. Great to have you, Doc. How are you?
Thank you very much. Let's talk about ultraviolet rays. Okay. So we're surrounded by energy waves all around us, like radio and TV waves. You got visible light rays that allow us to see things,
right?
Like 400 to 800 nanometers. And we have, if you add a lot of energy to that, you get things like X-rays or gamma rays, like a nuclear facility or an X-ray machine. And we all know that if you stood next to an X-ray machine that was on, like the dentist, they put that thing on you, it give you cancer, and it's really, really bad. Well, UV rays are right next to X-rays. And so if you get a ton of UV exposure, it's a direct shot to wrinkles, premature aging, and cancer. So we know that tanning beds and UV exposure causes melanoma, and melanoma is the #1 cancer in young girls right now. So this is a really disturbing trend. It's a horrible, horrible idea.
It is, and yet, Dr. Knight, it is out there, right? And so as parents, right, because we're the ones that have to be sort of like, that we're the bad guys about everything, but as parents, what do we need to be telling our kids? Obviously, that is a huge thing. It's hard for them to see that far into the future. We were teenagers once, right? It is
totally
hard
true.
for them. They're like, oh, that's so many years away, right?
It's like so the bill comes due at 20 to 30 years of age.
Yeah.
But what's trending on TikTok right now is what they care about. You know, tanning is trending on TikTok, but wrinkles and cancer is not trending on TikTok. But it's all cultural. It's so weird. Like in the 1800s, they used to try to be as fair as possible.
Right.
And that's because being fair was associated with being wealthy. So you weren't in the field all day, so you would try to be as fair as possible. So Queen Elizabeth would literally use lead powder on purpose to be as fair as possible. You lose your teeth, you lose your hair, you get cancer. People would take all kinds of things. I mean, if TikTok was around then, they'd be pushing arsenic tablets on young kids. But then 100 years later, when the Industrial Revolution happens, if you're in a factory, you're fair, and so now being out on your yacht in the Mediterranean is considered beautiful because it's associated with wealth. So a tan is wealthy, and that's how this whole thing happened. The question is, 100 years later, in the middle of a skin cancer epidemic, why do we still think a tan is healthy? It's not true. There is no healthy tan. In fact, a tan is your body screaming for help, saying, look, I've gotten too much UV radiation. And so there's nothing healthy about this at all.
All right, so let's talk about, hopefully, we can encourage healthy tans, right? So there are products that you can use. There are spray tan boosts that you can use, right? Let's talk about some of the ways you can do a healthy tan.
Well, we talked, don't drink the tanning juice, because we talked about that before. That's bad.
Yes,
no
don't
good.
do that.
So there's, I mean, that's the problem with TikTok. There's all kinds of stuff all over TikTok, and it's pushing this stuff on our kids, and it seems scientific. You know, if you watch these videos, they seem scientific, but it's just pure pseudoscience. There's nothing to it. And what I will tell you is that UVA, ultraviolet A, although it's not the burning rays of the sun, is directly related to melanoma skin cancer, and it blows right through your dermis and chews up collagen and elastin fibers. They're like Greek columns. So they're crumbling down, and they can't hold up your skin, and that causes wrinkles and premature aging in age 20 or 30. So by doing these trends now, you're going to have to pay the price when you're 20, 30 years old. And if you're a parent, you see your kid doing this stuff, you have to say, wait, hold on, wait. This is a really bad idea, and we need to have a conversation about zinc oxide sunscreen, hats, cover-ups, rash guards, and things that are going to protect us. Look, we live in Orlando, Florida.
Right.
The UV index is through the roof, and this kind of stuff is really dangerous. Like the cinnamon challenge on TikTok.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it like never ends. This misinformation out there, and I mean, I don't think any of our children should be on TikTok, period. But this kind of stuff is super dangerous.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so spray tans are okay.
Fine.
And the lotion, the self-tanning lotions are okay.
Totally fine.
Use the mitts so you don't get orange hands, right?
That's right.
Okay.
One final word on that, though, is, you know, there's a $1 billion tanning industry that's pushing this narrative that a tan is beautiful. I'm fine with this stuff, but I really wish we could all get back to the idea that we should just love the skin we're in.
Amen.
Right? Because that's what's healthy. That's what we're meant to have. And so going out and getting a tan is not healthy, and mimicking a tan while not unhealthy isn't really the right direction.
Right.
We should just enjoy the skin we were given and go with that.
I hear you. Yeah, right. Even if it's a fake tan, it's still perpetuating the myth.
That's exactly
so
right.
I gotcha. Dr. Knight, always great to have you.
Thanks.
Thank you, my friend.